Hey, welcome in everybody to another edition of the Film Room and Pink Show, all in one. We're just calling it Pink Show. I like to call it Pink Show. We voted on it. I decided not to take anybody's suggestions. I just went with mine. That's how I'm rolling here. So, thanks for joining me again on this. For those of you who have now seen this on YouTube for free, you'll see it again about 24 to 48 hours, somewhere in that range, after the corner and the bunker get to feast on it, of course. We won't do that every time. This is a sort of a privilege. Not that I am by any means, but just a different take on things for sure. Film, getting to see that live and me break it down the best that I know how. And, I'm not always right about it, but for those who don't know, this is I go about it like I am an opposing defensive coordinator looking at film on Auburn, and I'm calling it things that they don't call it, but I'm just calling it to identify it. And I think identifying the plays is very important. And I did that. I put it on after review that I put up on Monday. So we'll talk through a little bit of that. We will definitely look at the film from the Arkansas game. Why did Auburn win this time? I want to dive into Ashton Daniels and his time. I want to dive into the red zone issues. I want to look at that. And a couple other things. Definitely want to look at the pick by Jackson Arnold, talk about that a little bit. And we'll do all of that. And, if you're part of Auburn Sports, then this is all yours, man, every week. Won't be the case on YouTube. So definitely come join us there. I want to talk about a few things, though, before we do get into film. First of all, let's just go ahead and address this out of the gate. Apparently, I lit a fire on the board the other night with my opinion on something. But look, this is the way I look at it. Not everybody is addressing this head on, and it's kind of the elephant in the room. And I just figured, look, we're going to have to address it. We're going to have to talk about the coaching situation at Auburn. We're going to have to talk about it for where it is currently. Not just I think it's safe. Well, let's just talk about what could happen. Let's talk about scenarios. I'm down for that. My point in posting what I did, and I went back and read the original post that I made. I'm like, dang it, man, would you just, I'm still learning in this business. Like, I need to be able to word things right. I need to go back and reread 100 times, obviously, because no matter what, people are going to take things you say wrong. It's just going to happen. Not that it's that big of a deal. It's my opinion. It's not a fact. It's just my opinion, but I want to clarify it. So what I mean to say when I'm talking about this thing is I felt like if Auburn has it in its mind that it's going to get rid of Hugh Freeze and move on and go to someone else, right? If that's the end goal here, and I don't think it's what they want to do. I think it might be what they do eventually. Arkansas win, good. Still some problems. Still got a lot to work through. Your back's still against the wall. Nothing's changed there with the win against Arkansas. So what I'm trying to say is I think eventually it could very well happen that Hugh Freeze gets fired. I still think that's very much on the table. And if that's the case, I feel like you missed kind of a big opportunity of doing that after the Missouri loss. This is just my opinion, right? So now you've got Florida, LSU in the market. Are those leaps and bounds better jobs than Auburn? No. That's not what I'm saying. Should Auburn be scared of Florida and LSU and Penn State? No. Certainly not saying that either. I didn't write it. Don't believe it. What I'm trying to tell you is, at least in my mind, those schools have a little bit of a jump on the current pool of coaches right now. And does that matter? I don't know. I'm really just questioning it. I'm not saying it does, because obviously, if Auburn's going to make a move, they're going to have their priorities straight. They've screwed up a coaching hire before, Brian Harsin. I wouldn't call Hugh Freeze a screw up. I think the idea when you hired Hugh Freeze was to get somebody who could retool the roster. I think that was priority number one. And, well, check. They've done that. The problem is on the field, of course, and still not coming to fruition. Now, I will say this. Hugh Freeze and his staff have a very big opportunity ahead of them. If Auburn is able to get it together and win out this season, they could keep their jobs. By all means, I think everyone wants the defensive staff to keep their jobs. And, it is what it is. For those who want Hugh Freeze gone, even though it is Durkin that runs the defensive side of things, it's still under the umbrella of Hugh Freeze and the direction of his program. He chose DJ Durkin. He was part of that. He chose to re-up. He was part of re-upping DJ Durkin. He wanted him on his staff. Vontrell King Williams. Nobody really liked that hire when it happened because he wasn't a big name. I bet you don't want to lose him now, right? So all of those things are part of the direction of the program. And when you're talking about firing a coach, which I'm usually very, very hesitant about, right? I go pretty conservative when it comes to that. Even though I do acknowledge I think the opportunity was there after the Missouri loss. Even though I do feel that way, I think this opportunity is there. The opportunity is there. Can you beat Vanderbilt? I don't know, man. That's a bad matchup if you ask me. Vanderbilt's a well-coached football team, and really the problem with Auburn is the finer details of things. You'll see that on film here. It's been the storyline of film. And does that mean they're bad coaches? No. It just means sometimes it's the system. The system makes it that way. It's difficult. To me, I wrote this. My headline for the after review article was Auburn's offensive approach is unnecessarily reckless. Right? Unnecessarily reckless. It doesn't even make sense sometimes why you're opening the door for danger as much as you do. That's the case on this Jackson Arnold interception we're going to look at here in a few minutes. But just wanted to reiterate what I was trying to say. Auburn's a great job should it come open. Fantastic job. Okay. I think Auburn's got a great shot this time to make a good hire if they go that route. And then, of course, as far as the direction of the program, I think it's okay. I think the direction of the program's fine. The offense is a problem. I know a lot of people are starting to make that argument. What if Hugh Freeze went out and got an offense coordinator, or what if Auburn made him do that? Maybe that's in the cards. I don't know. I really, if anyone asks me what Auburn should do right now, I don't have an answer. I don't know the answer. Don't want to be in that position. I kind of just want to let it play out because I don't have a huge opinion. Like now that the Missouri loss week has passed, firing him now is like it's weird timing, and I don't know. It's just weird now. You're in no man's land. When like there's a defender out in the flats and you got a receiver above him and the quarterback can run, and that guy's sitting there going, well, do I take quarterback or do I drop back and get the receiver? And he's sitting there and he's like back and forth, like, I don't know what to do. I feel like that's where Auburn is right now. That's my opinion. Let's talk a little bit about the quarterback situation that we got coming up. It's a weird one. I know what Hugh Freeze said Monday about when he was asked directly about Ashton Daniels being the starter or who would be the starter, and he was not going to name a starter. He's going to say we got a competition coming up. We're going to watch both of the guys throughout the week, see how they both operate, see who has the best week of practice, whatever, right? And then, of course, the red shirt question comes up. And his answer is indirect, right? He's not really addressing that. He's going, I'm thinking about Kentucky. Okay, fair enough. Here's the thing, though. Don't forget what happened with Damari Austin. Did Hugh Freeze want Damari Austin to leave? No. Did it put Auburn in the best position for Damari Austin to be gone? No. This was a Damari Austin decision, not a Hugh Freeze decision. So if Hugh Freeze wants to go with Ashton Daniels for the rest of the games this year, is Ashton Daniels going to be on board with that? And I'm not saying that he or Damari Austin are bad guys or that's not for the team, whatever. I'm not even going to get into all that. It's just a question you have to ask with this because that's where it's at. That's where we're at in college football. That's part of what's going on. So I think that is a very precarious situation they find themselves in. I know, I mean, perfect world. Jackson Arnold finishes out the Arkansas game and they win, and he never has to be benched, and Ashton Daniels never comes in. But that ain't what happened. I've seen a lot of people say, well, the Mercer game, just don't play Ashton Daniels in the Mercer game. Well, Mercer's not bad. You can't screw around in that game. Zach knows what I'm talking about. So I don't know. You're in a weird place. Who will start? I think it's going to be Daniels, if I had to guess. Although, I think coaches like Hugh Freeze, coaches like Ken Austin, who maybe have a touch of old school about them, look at a situation and go, quarterbacks have bad days. And then, of course, you've heard him say a million times, these opening drives, these first half scripts, Jackson's doing so well with that. So I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Ashton Daniels is going to be Auburn's starter against Kentucky. But if I put my money on it, I would say he probably is. But I think they're being pretty genuine when they say it is a competition and it ain't just going to Ashton, even though he did just help lead to a victory in the second half when put in not such a good situation, by the way. We will get into his play on the film and see how that goes. I come away. I don't come away going, yes, that's the guy. I come away going, okay, he settled in. He was poised. He handled the situation well. I look at it more like that. I don't come away going, wow, he was great. What an awesome place. And, Hugh Freeze was asked what changes when Daniels is in the game versus Arnold. And he said nothing. And looking at the play calling data, which I from my play script, I identify it, and then I put it all out in percentages on my after review. With Arnold, you had almost 40% RPO, 22% drop back, 19% power read. They ran that 7 times with Arnold in the game. With Daniels, 44% RPO, 20% drop back, and then 17% inside zone. So really, really similar on those numbers. The only big difference was the power read. They didn't run that with Ashton Daniels. They ran some different quarterback run stuff, and you've heard Freeze say, look, they're kind of different in their running styles, so maybe that has something to do with it. But the offense was the same, the base was the same, everything was the same there. So I do have one question, though, about this offense. Where is the play action? What happened to that? Not that they've ever been like crazy about play action because it's really RPO base, everything is, but as much as they're running the football, man, and they got these receivers, a play action shot play could be so big for this offense. And it's a different protection. It's all that. I mean, are they scared of the protection when it comes to that? I don't know. But tell you who isn't, Bobby Petrino, because 4 plays for Arkansas that were 25-plus yards, explosive plays, all play action. Went back and looked, checked on that. Yep, 100%. And when you saw the 2 plays where there's like a tight end running just by himself, play action. And they screwed with the backers. Assignments. Elijah Melendez got caught in no man's land. Guy comes from, they get in the offset eye. The fullback goes through the A-gap like he's about to block Melendez, and he slips out on like a corner route. I think Bobby Bowden was the last person to do this, right? It's good offense, dude, because that's what they do at Arkansas. That's what Bobby Petrino does. Run, play action, run, play action, run, play action. You better be on your toes. Love that offense. And they got Auburn on it a few times. Now, Auburn tightened up. Of course, if you can't run, play action's not that effective now. Auburn was. So I'm like, I did not script one play action, not one play action play in like 50, almost 60 plays. I think that's crazy. Where's the play action? One more point I wanted to hit on too, when you're talking about the job and the state of Auburn and what could possibly happen moving forward. I think you'd be crazy to not expect a lot of really good players from Auburn to leave. Personally, I'm looking more at the offensive side than the defensive side, but then, what happens if Durkin's not there? Because that's a real possibility. I don't know. I'd say this. Auburn's offense is talented right now. There's no doubt about it. Cam Coleman, Eric Singleton, Malcolm Simmons. I think Xavier Chaplin's pretty talented, even though he's had some struggles. I think he is talented. I think Mason Murphy's pretty talented. Connor Liu, Kale Ellis, I think is talented. He's just young. They got talent. The base is good. They got a year under their belts, and it's still the same, right? So I think what does that tell me personally? Something I'm learning as I continue on in this job and dive into film every day almost. System matters, man. Talent matters, but system really matters because you put all those guys in this system, it looks the exact same. That's not good because you want it to look better. Actually, it's taken a step back from what it was a year ago from a passing standpoint. So my opinion, if Auburn, the university, has to step in and there is a coaching change going on and it's in a weird, terrible time for transition because you got the portal, you got signing day coming up, keep the defense, man. Put it all in on your defense. Push all the chips in over there. I think you can find skill players. The offensive linemen, there's a few of those I would definitely want to keep. Ty Buster, Jacoby Ward, Kale Ellis. I think you got a strong young base coming up with those guys. I think they did really well on the evals with those guys. DeAndre Carter is another guy I think could be good in this offense. These are the kind of guys that, if you're operating on autopilot without a head coach when all of this is hitting the fan, I look at the lines of scrimmage and defense. Start there, stay there, and then you can work around it with the rest. That's my opinion. Again, maybe wrong. It's not a fact. It's just my opinion. So I wanted to point that out too because you never know. It's about to be a wild finish to the season. It's about to be a wild off season. It is. It's going to be fun. I think it'll be fun. We will find out what's going on for sure. Okay, let's get into some film. Let's see here. Yes. All right. So I want to walk through the red zone. We're just going to kind of jump around here. Start, though, with the red zone stuff. And you got to forgive me here. I can't find a full replay of the game, so we're having to watch these goobers for Arkansas. I'm not going to have sound. They're just going to be like in the screen. So forgive me. Try not to pay attention to them. Is what I write in the thread every week. Of course, people can't not pay attention to them. I get it. We're watching the film though. You'll get used to it. I do. I forget they're there. All right, so let's go with this. Let me make sure my sound is off. Okay. So this is your first down play, and I call it jet sweep, but I think it is actually an attempt at power read. So you got the usual power read. There is a guard pull, I believe. Down. And then here's your lead blocker. So this is inside the 20, first down play right here. And some of the film is a little bit jumpy, so forgive me on that. And he slips. Because the field's wet, look, not much you can do about this. They're blocking it pretty good. I mean, he's trying to cut back and get some yardage. And maybe there's not a read there, but either way, this is the scheme they're rolling with. Jet sweep, power read, whatever. Didn't realize Sam Turner was in the game right here. There he is right there. Really hope he starts getting some more playing time, especially if Cam's hurt and he's hobbled or whatever the case. But this is your first down play, and that's really tough. I don't really there's not much I can really say about that. That's tough. All right. So you get a 2nd and 11. Oh, wow. So you got a drop here. 2nd 11, they go to drop, which should scare you every time. You got an out and up, okay? Out and up out here. So he's running like an out and then an up. That's Perry Thompson. Because they've run this out a few times at this point. So this is actually a pretty good play call. Out, up. But look at the alignment. Look at where the safety is. right here. He does not play down to that out like they wanted. He plays over it. And they're in this two safety look here. So they're thinking they might get cover two, which would be, these guys play out here. They're playing the halves. But it's not. Later, that will matter. He actually plays over the top. So this play is really no good. There's nowhere for Arnold to go, so he just kind of throws it over there. I think he's trying to throw it away. It almost gets dangerous. Protection, it's not terrible. Chaplin gives up the inside late, but you got 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. At that point, ball's got to start coming out. I think this is pretty decent protection. And it doesn't help for Chaplin that he gets the chip by the back. Is he expecting that? The guy spins on him, kind of tough. So that's why that play didn't work. 2nd and 11, drop back. Of course, the hit rate on dropbacks is so low. It's so low. 3rd and 11, another drop play. I don't know why that sounds on every time, but forgive me there. I don't know if y'all can hear that or not. So this time, they're expecting this is kind of a response to how that corner played over it the last time, or safety, whatever that guy is, number 13. And this time they just run an out. It wasn't that squiggly, but that's how I drew it. But so a couple things with this, you just don't have a lot of room for the out, so it's got to be a very timely throw. And this is what Jackson Arnold has struggled with. Also, when you have the guy line like that, you got to push him a little bit. And I feel like Perry Thompson didn't do a great job of that. Almost angle back in and push at him and then break. So you have a little bit more room. You give your quarterback a little bit more room, but he kind of doesn't do that. Here it is right here. Runs kind of straight out. This ball should come out about right here. And he's not out yet. Still gets there, still a chance, but it's just not a clean play. So that is what happened on this red zone possession. Basically, we're trying to find a reason why each of these red zone possessions don't work. That one, I chalk it up to having to go drop back because your first down play didn't work, which is exactly what Freeze says all the time. If we don't get our first down play, then we're in trouble, and that's because they don't run drop back well at all. All right, here's the interception by Arnold. Let's talk about this one. I learned something from Freeze while he was on Tiger Talk Monday night. So again, this is the same look, totally different drive, but they're still in this 2 safety, 2 corner, maybe cover 2 look, right? Where it's kind of like this. So if that's the case, you can't throw this ever if you know that. My question is, does Arnold really know that? Okay, because look, now here we are. This guy has now backed up. Does he know it's cover 2? Possibly by the way he's slinging it in there, he does, and he's just defying the rules a little bit and going, I'm going to try to fit it in there anyway. But why? Why? But there's an overarching theme here that I want to talk about that I'm like a broken record on this. I can't even count how many times I've talked about it. And, I don't know more than Hugh Freeze. I would never claim that. I just know this. If you put that much on your quarterback all the time, you are creaking open like Edward's screen door. Creaking open that door of danger. And I just question, why do you want to do that? Why? What's the benefit? Like, if we had to sit down and write the pros and cons about it, I guess the pros or just the one pro would be, well, if he does it right, then we're never wrong. And the defense is always wrong. Okay, good. But there is this thing called Murphy's Law, human error. All of that comes into account. At least it should. anyway. So what I mean by this is if you want, because I'm pretty sure Freeze throws his clipboard or whatever play sheet in frustration when this happens because he does not want Jackson to throw that ball. Okay, then why give him the option? I don't get it. What's the difference in this guy, Perry Thompson, running a hitch or him going to stalk block the guy and not have a route? What's the difference? I don't get that. It just doesn't, it's not computing right here in my head. Okay. Um, Now he may watch this and call me an idiot, and that's fine. That's fine. I just don't agree with it. Don't give him the option. You want a handoff? Tell him to hand it off. You got a microphone. Or how about this? Just call a play where he only has a handoff option. Take that out of his hands. How many times did we say this with Peyton Thorne a year ago? It's the same thing. And that's why you get the same results. Okay. I said what I need to say about that. I don't know what else to say. Let's be done with that. Okay. Make sure we're still good here. Now, let's get into Ashton Daniels. The moment you've been waiting for. I don't think anybody wanted to talk about the Jackson Arnold interception, but here we are. We're going to talk about it a little bit. So that was my approach on it. I'm curious. Let me know in the comments. Like, what do you think about that? Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm an idiot? Do you think I'm crazy? Am I overreacting about it? We talk about it a lot. I know a lot of people's thoughts on it. So anyway. All right. Ashton Daniels. I skipped so he got 4 snaps right before half. I skipped those. Just kind of not a big deal. That was, they were trying to maybe get a shot or two in and get close to field goal range, but they didn't do that. So starting with the second half, when Ashton Daniels comes in for the second half, 1st and 10, you get your RPO stuff going, inside zone lock, which is just the base offense. Good run. Gets you about 7, 2nd down and 3. You get an RPO. And this, of course, is after Rashawn Pleasant's huge kick return that gets them this close because a couple runs, they hit a couple of those, and boom, red zone possession. All right, so now we're talking about we're talking about Daniels and red zone all together here. Okay, so this is 1st down in the red zone. RPO, GH counter, and it's an RPO because you got your option routes going on out there, I think. All right. So let's talk about this red zone offense. And, right inside the 20, but still red zone for sure. Looks like they definitely want the handoff here. They don't want to get in the same old position over here. That's for sure. Just not a good block by Howard, man. So this is your kick. Boom. Kicks the end, and then your lead. And he's going to get a good little hit on this backer, but no feet, no drive, pops right off of him. Basically, just not a good block. Boom, hits him, nothing. The guy shucks him off. He's sitting there waiting for Cobb. Pretty good job by Cobb, actually, not much he can do. Just put his head down and get as much as he can, and he does. So it's not a terrible play. It ends up being about a 2-yard gain, but just not a good block, not good execution. 2nd and 8. Drop. Oh, no, not drop. All right, so you don't know this probably. Maybe you do because I think I drew this up. Oh, wait. Zim. Don't get mad at me. I'm figuring it out, I promise. You probably don't know this. I think I drew this up on the Missouri film room, if I remember correctly. This is the play that Auburn got sacked on and threw it to right on the last play of the game. Same play. This is mesh. Again, you get this close guy right here. You can pretty much expect mesh because they don't change it up a lot formationally, which I think actually hurts them, but that's a conversation for another day. All right. You get motion here, which is usually like a squiggly line. Motion. He runs out. Oh, no, not like that. Cross. out, like a Z. So motion up and out. All right. So you got the mesh going on, that draws a lot of attention. Then you got an out route, and that one corner over there is covering it. This is a very nice play. Of course, it didn't work like that against Missouri, but protection was very good here. Arkansas is not really pinning their ears back. They bring 4. I think Missouri brought like 6 or 7 on that play. This is a nice little rep here from Xavier Chaplin. Yep, good job. Mason Murphy, I think, is pretty good here too. Yep, all good. Pretty timely throw by Ashton Daniels. Right on the break and throw. Boom. First down. Yep, good play right there. A successful drop back pass. Don't get to say that a lot. First and goal. Okay, this is a promising looking red zone deal here. All right, RPO. And when they got this stack look, they're probably going with the quick screen. Yep, so you got quick screen over there, and you got the option fade route over here. Daniels got the one-on-one. Where's the safety? Let it play out a little bit more. Safety's here. One-on-one, right? Sorry, my circles are terrible. It's kind of hard. I need a mouse or something. So he just turns it into a fade. When the guy presses on him, if he's like back here, then it turns into a hitch option. I believe that's how they do this. And then your box count here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with a walk up. So almost 7, potentially 7. You could call it that. And then your safety's inside the hashes. So easy. I mean, this is the rules, right? You want your quarterback to take this shot. Perry Thompson is different than Cam Coleman, but definitely give him the shot. Just not a good throw. You need to give him a chance, I think. He put this on his back shoulder, and that one really sailed. So dead play, right? So I'd say that one's on Daniels. It's a pretty good decision to go to it, but come on, man, you got to make a better throw than that. I think anyway. Second and goal. You're still in pretty good position here. Another RPO deal, but they hand it off. Pretty simple. Again, Howard. It's a good start to the block. Man, I just wish you could. He's just a little light in the pants, maybe, for this. Needs a little more weight on him, needs a little more power to be a blocker like this. It's just not his thing, I don't think. But not a terrible play. Cobb gets inside the 5. Okay. That was second down. Third and goal. This is, I believe, if you've listened to Freeze at all on Monday on either Tiger Talk or the press conference, he said that there was one play where he gave Ashton Daniels a minus, and I believe it's this play right here. So I think this was very close to being called a pick route, which it was. This is Malcolm Simmons. It looks like a mesh, right? I don't really know what he does, but Preston Howard's going to run like right at this guy. Or maybe this guy. It's one of those two. He's running at him and he's pushing him off. It's a rub. So he runs, pushes the guy off. This is a little drag under it, and it's open. Absolutely, he needs to throw it, but he doesn't. And he acts like the pocket's breaking down, but it's really not. So watch this. I mean, this right here is quarterback. This is quarterback all the way. Hugh Freeze has acknowledged that now. I thought that before he even said that, but it is good to hear him say that because I know that I'm looking at the right thing and looking at it the right way. I think they had the play for him. All right, stop right there. Look at Simmons. Now, he's blocking him. That's a penalty. That's a rub route all day, but why is he leaving? He didn't give it a chance. Arkansas brings 4. Right here, everything looks to be picked up. You need to step in and throw. Step in and throw, but instead he evades, tries to run it. Doesn't work. So that's a miss by QB right here. That's on Daniels. And plays like these, and look, it's his first game in a long time. It's gonna take him a minute to get some of that stuff right. But that's a big miss, man. That's points in the red zone. Touchdown. You let it go. Now again, might have been called for the rub route, but either way. Okay. Um Talking about some of the running stuff, they ran this Q counter with Arnold. But this was nice, man. I really like it. Isaiah Miller at right tackle is wearing this guy out. He lets him go late, but really good block, actually. Dylan Wade gets a good hat on that guy. Who is that? That's Cobb is getting a good little block out there. Daniels just kind of picks his way. That's a little bit different than Arnold. Arnold's more of a straight line guy, kind of hit the hole hard kind of guy. Daniels is patient, different. This turns out to be a really nice play right here. Okay. They're back in the red zone. They stayed in the red zone, man. A lot of these plays are in the red zone. All right, so 1st and 10, they go with a drop. No. Don't do that. And they got some kind of 2-man combo over here that I can't really see. He's running kind of up the seam almost, and then he's running like an out. So I don't know. And you can see his eyes here. He's looking at this. Let's see. Yeah, he's looking over there. He kind of wants that. It takes him a long time to check back because he's got Frazier just sitting here as an outlet for a long time. Does get it to him, so I guess that's good, but a little late. Again, don't run drop back here, man. What are you doing? Stay away from it. It's so bad. And this was good protection, by the way. There was a spy or a late blitzer that comes in, but that's not on the offensive line. They handle it really well. Wade and Ellis are killing that guy, that nose. Chaplin's got this number 0 all by himself, and then Miller at right tackle doing a great job. So they actually pass protected really well in this game, and I don't think that's been mentioned much. So I asked the question, why are you going drop back? What are we doing? Don't you know? Do they not have a risk analyst? Evidently not. But they do get 4 yards. Can't be too critical, I guess. 2nd and 6. They just go with the handoff off of the RPO. It's GH counter again. Not much there. They got, let's see, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the box. So, kind of tough sledding. Arkansas played that pretty well. And does not get much. So now they got 3rd down. And not only that, there's a delay of game, which I believe Freeze sort of put that on Kale Ellis and not Ashton Daniels, if I heard that correctly. So they go from a 3rd and 5 to a 3rd and 10. Yep. Right. And hang on. We'll have to fast forward to the play here. So 3rd and 10. They got trips over here. Everybody runs to the sticks. I hate it. I really hate that. Run a combo or something. Like, I've seen this so many times, and I'll just draw it for you in case you can't see it. Boom. 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 I mean, it's just not easy for your quarterback to throw that when they're draped on them. Like, everybody's got a defender on them. But even so, this is a really bad pass protection rep. Wonder if there's a end zone. No. You can't. So there's a twist here. Right here. In loop. And they just don't pick it up well at all. Get killed by it. So Daniels runs, doesn't get anything. And that'll do it. Send in McPherson for another one. Well, I had to give Kinsley Lador Foston credit here. Boom, great play. He's right here, covers the slant. Yes, nice job. And he has a pick later. Okay. 1st and 10, inside zone. Run play goes for 9. Okay. Let's see that one real quick. Curious. So again, you're not really getting much out of Daniels here. Like as far as me breaking it down, they're running the football. The times when they do go drop back, it's not great, right? Not great. Pass protection was an issue in the last one we watched. You saw the one on the goal line, 3rd and goal. We should have let it go to Simmons. That was touchdown. Didn't do it. So, yes, he did come in and lead a drive. And lead several drives for points and end up winning. But you can actually see here when you're watching it, like, is he that much better than Arnold? It's hard to tell right now. So I think it's fair that he's having the competition. I mean, kind of, you almost have to look past the film and go, look, Daniels came in, led us to a victory. Let's give another shot. And I think that's probably where they'll end up going. But, have the competition, of course. Leave it open. Don't tell them. Let them fight for it. Yeah, this was just a good run by Cobb here. Good blocks on the edge. Great job by Frazier. No? Was that Frazier? No, that was Howard. Good job, Howard. Very good block. Howard right here. Boom. Stayed on it. Run your feet a little bit better, but dang. And then Singleton gets a nice little cutoff there. So gets you down to 2nd and 1. Now, 2nd and 1, for those who don't know, if you're going to take a shot, 2nd and 1 is a fantastic time to do it. And you take a deep shot. If it ain't there, throw it over his head or throw it out of bounds because then you get 3rd and 1, right? And if you want 4th and 1. So this is the time. This is the down, okay? That's exactly what Auburn does. So I credit the play callers here. And let me say this, there's nothing wrong with giving credit when it's due. And there's nothing wrong with placing blame when it's due. And I'll also say this, it's okay for you to hope Freeze gets it together, but also want a change. You can look at the situation and go, it's just not working. I think there needs to be a change. But at the same time, you go, but I hope they get it right. And guess what, guys? There ain't nothing wrong with that. It's fine. Okay? I had to say that. 2nd and 1. They don't even try this. This is what I like about this play. They don't go RPO at all. They go, we're going deep. Let's go drop back. Let's get a max protection here. And let's let one go. You saw this in the Oklahoma game. Remember when Jackson Arnold stood in his own end zone, threw it to Cam Coleman a couple times out of the end zone. This max protection. I haven't seen it in like 3 weeks or 2 weeks maybe. But they did it here, and credit to Daniels for letting it go, man. Because honestly, let's look right here and stop. This is not okay. You know how we say a guy's got a step? He don't have a step. Here's the defender right here. They are together. Now, Danny Archer does not agree with me, and that's fine. But I don't think Arnold throws this ball. The last 3 weeks of doing film study on him, this is not something he lets go typically. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I like the fact that Daniel said, that's my guy. Let's take it out of my hands and let him decide the play. And dang if he doesn't. And I'm going to say this again. I said this on JG's show, the rundown. The brain drain. This guy, this cat right here, E.S. Eric Singleton. Okay, gadget, whatever, hands. Dude's got hands. Throw him the football. Treat him like a receiver. Gadget's fine. You can still do that stuff, but he needs to be throwing the football like this. He keeps making plays like this. He made plays like this at Georgia Tech. If you watch his film, this is what he was doing. Use that man. That's a fantastic catch right there. elite. And honestly, the ball, people have criticized it. I am cool with that ball because he let it go in enough time to not let that other safety come and mess with it. And he put it on the guy because, they're both in the same spot. Just let him have a chance. This is a true 50-50 ball. And Eric Singleton makes it happen, son. Fantastic. They're not quite in the red zone yet, but here's all your hitches. Golly, I hate it. I cannot stand this. Hang on. Hitch. 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 Man, I'm so sick of watching that. and honestly, there's still a throw to be made, and it's right here. Daniel should be throwing that. But still, it still is just, I can't stand this route concept. I just like him moving. I'm so sick of seeing that. So anyway, he does actually make a play off of this. Let me let that run. Makes a scramble. Maybe he looks at Howard and goes, he ain't going to catch it. I'm going to keep running. It's possible. Nice little fake right there. Breaks the tackle. Yeah. I mean, good play. Can't get too mad at him. I'm not mad at him because I know how difficult it is to sit there and throw in those little holes like that. It's not as easy as it looks. All right, so red zone possession, 2nd and 3. This is after the scramble. They go RPO, right? Hand it off. First down. Nice run. Again, pretty good little block by. No, I guess not good. Howard's hitting them and then falling off of them. Why not Frazier right there? I think Frazier's better at this. I don't know. Daniel's just holding his hand up like this might be a touchdown, but no, you didn't get the key block. Yeah, clap your hands. All right, 1st and goal. Another promising red zone trip. They go RPO again. Now, I wrote in after review that I thought it was irresponsible to have Cam Coleman in the game. Because I know, I get it. I know he's getting paid a lot of money. He's really good. Yes, I know all that. He's running the typical, this is where we would throw you the shot in the single because here's the safety. They have challenged once again to throw to Cam Coleman, which is not really a great idea for a defense, but they did. So that's exactly what Daniels is going to do here. Problem is, Coleman doesn't finish the route. He can't. He's hurt. So now Daniels is in a bad spot. Now you may say, well, Malcolm Simmons is wide open right here. Well, guess what? This ain't a typical drop back pass. This is supposed to go one place and one place only. This is not one of those where he can pretty much, I mean, he could, don't get me wrong, he could set his feet, turn, and throw to Malcolm Simmons, right? It's not designed that way. It's supposed to go here. That ball's supposed to leave his hand as soon as, I mean, it's a predetermined thing. So it's actually interesting, and maybe some credit here to Daniels that he doesn't let it go. This is where that, that Stanford degree comes in because he sees Cam Coleman ain't doing it, and it could be disastrous if he does throw it. That 23 might have himself a pick here. So he bails out of it. I can't blame him. And actually gives, I mean, it wasn't a good throw, but it puts it to Malcolm Simmons, touches his hand. Like he realizes that Simmons is there late and gets away from it, makes the play. I guess I kind of give him credit here. I give him credit on this play. That wasn't bad. After what he's having to deal with, it's just kind of irresponsible to put Coleman out there and that happen and puts Daniels in a terrible position. So they survive that play. They get the 2nd and goal. GH counter. Hand it off. Cobb, nice little run. Okay. Getting a little closer. They're sticking with this formula here. Staying away from drop back. I am cool with that. I'm telling you, I'm cool with that. 3rd and goal. This is different. I haven't seen this. Um, this is another one of your little rub plays. So they widen these two guys out and stack them, and they got the 12 personnel going on here. He's going to run like this and sort of push off this corner like a rub, just like you saw Howard do earlier. And then he's running a tight slant off of it. So looks kind of like that. But Daniels is not feeling it. This guy's here. He could be problematic, I guess. Maybe that's what his pre-snap deal is. So he hands it off on the, I think it's like inside zone, right? Yep. And the one unaccounted for player, Hat, the safety, makes the play. And I believe that's not wooden, but not anything you can do about this guy. he's just there. He's the safety. He's walked up because they're in 12 personnel. Again, formationally, I think they could fix some things here. Get that safety out. If that safety's out and you run inside zone, he might bump his head on the goalpost. But they tighten everything up with 12 personnel. And, so on this one, I would have to chalk this red zone failure up to putting Cam Coleman in the game or letting him be in the game. Not a great decision. It turns out bad on that play. Then again, you mess up first down and you're in trouble. As Freeze put it on Monday night on Tiger Talk, if we get the first down play right, then the defense is in trouble. And I agree with that. That's pretty much the case. But my goodness, you got to be able to make a play, right? All right, so back to the usual. Inside zone, didn't have a pass attachment there. See how much time we're at. 52, okay. Wrapping it up. 2nd and 6, they go RPO. Doesn't get much. 3rd and 5, they go double screen. Let's take a look at that one. You got a bubble over here. Bubble. And then you got a quick screen here with a blocker. That's the matchup because you got 1 for 1 and then an extra. So he goes to it. That's just not very smooth, first of all, by Daniels. Throws it pretty hard off the mark, and then Frazier missed his block. So nothing doing there on 3rd and 5. It's not a red zone possession, but close enough. Pretty close. So new drive here, RPO, jet, GH counter, your typical stuff. This was a nice little play. I liked it. So you got a little flare screen to Cobb, and then you get a crack block. Or maybe it's him that cracks. I can't remember exactly, but you get a crack block. Yeah, there it is. Crack, and go get as many as you can. Nice play. I like that design a lot. Very good design. All right, this was cool. So this is your lasso zone is what I call it. It's a zone read concept. So he's going to come across. He's going to arc release and be here. Arc release, and he'll be your lead blocker for the quarterback pool. If that happens, this is your read man right here. All right, now usually this is a combo or a down block, whatever. But what they do here, he blocks here, and then he folds like it's a pool or a dart almost. And that kind of makes this guy weird. And it's pretty cool. I thought this was a nice little play. Kind of wish he'd have pulled it. But it's 3rd and 2. I think he could pull this. What do you think? If he does, he's got blockers out there. But it's not a terrible decision to hand it off, I guess. I mean, the breed man never gets in the play, so that's what you're looking for. Kale Ellis does not do a good job here. He gets knocked back by the nose. Just not good. And that's why it's too close to call. Bad spot, yes, but you don't want it. You leave no room for doubt, right? When it comes to referees, we've learned that at this point, and That's just got to be better for Kel Ellis. He can't lose that much ground. He's learning. This is what you're dealing with for freshmen being in the game. You got things like that going on. All right, dive play. Love this. This is great. I'm calling it a dive. It's basically off tackle or whatever. It's just diving down. Everybody's blocking down. You got your two lead blockers. This is Dylan Wade. This is Tate Johnson. I wonder who the other guard is. Oh, look. That's our guy, DeAndre Carter at left guard, comes on in for this one. Under center scares me because they don't do it a lot, but hey, good play right here. 4th down conversion. Very good. Okay. 1st and 10 inside zone. Get about 2 on that. They go inside zone again. Get about 2 on that. And then they go Q counter on 3rd and 6, which was interesting. Not much doing there. And I believe that does it there. That's the end of it. So, like I said, there's not a lot you can really take away from watching Ashton Daniels because there's so much running. But you know what? If you do that exactly against Kentucky, Auburn will win the game. Yeah, Auburn will. So keep doing it. Put Ashton Daniels in there. They look to be more poised when he was in the game, personally, to me. Now, again, they were moving the ball in the first half. It's the pick 6 that killed them, and it should have never been thrown. 8 straight run plays for 50, almost 60 yards, get you down to that spot, and then you throw that one? God. Again, don't give them the option. That was the biggest point I wanted to make in this show. If you don't want it, don't do it. Or do. Open the door for danger and keep getting screwed. Whatever. Do it your way, I guess. So that'll do it. Hopefully talking through some of the things that have been going on, hitting on some of those topics was good for the beginning. Hopefully you enjoyed the film. Hopefully it's not boring. I felt like it might be even getting a little boring in there just because that's how the offense was. But you know what? I'll take boring. If it means winning, boring's fine. Give me more boring. Let me see boring again for Kentucky. I'd love that. As always, so, if you're watching this on YouTube this week, this should be on YouTube. Come join us at Auburn Sports. We got the whole the deal going, man. You come in and get a week for $1. Get you a little trial. You're going to love it. If you're on the corner in the bunker, man, I appreciate you. Let me hear back from you. Tell me what you think about this one. Tell me what you think about the quarterback situation. Tell me what you think about the coaching situation and the pool and the things going on, man. I want to hear from you. Appreciate you guys, as always. Hope you learned something. We'll catch you next time. Never pass on a playmaker. See ya.